Here's your host, Bill Lasky.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Sports Phone KNBR, and I wish I could be saying it would be a winning Sports Phone KNBR tonight, but it's gotten worse. The Giants are now, they lost 7 home straight games. They're on a 5-game losing streak. They had 2 hits today. What else can happen? I'll tell you. Elliot Ramos in the first inning not knowing what to do on an infield fly rule. That's, first of all, that is just so insane. That is not good baseball right there. It just exploded from there. The Giants had opportunities with walks in the first inning, walks in the third inning. They could not do anything. Rafael Devers, 0 for 4, drops in 2 punch-outs, a 4-6-3 double play. He is grinding so hard at the plate. He's trying so hard, and it's just not working. Many of these hitters are doing the same thing. The pressure is now mounting. The stress you can tell in each at-bat. They just cannot mount a hitting attack. There's nothing in this lineup that's hot. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Willie Adames, I would have to say, 1 for 3 today with a home run. He's probably hitting the ball the best out of this whole team, but he can't carry a team. This team is just going down and going down fast. They are now 500. They're 54 and 54. The last time they were at 500, March 30th. March 30th. Ever since then, they have been playing good baseball. Unless you start looking at the end of June, the month of July, and when you look from the All-Star break, 2-9. 2-9. They won 2 games in Atlanta, and this homestand, 0-5. They have to play the Mets and the Pirates once they leave here Thursday. Now they go to their ballpark and play them. Something's got to change, and I don't know what can change in this offense. They're grinding. As I said, the stress and the pressure is mounting. Everybody is feeling it. You saw Rafael Devers in the dugout at the end of the game. The only one in the dugout with his head down. He is pressing, and you know he's pressing. Here's a man that's a 280 lifetime hitter, and he can't even get a knock for the Giants. 0 for 4, 2 punch-outs. So now what do you do? Now what do we do, Giant fans? Are you going to be a buyer or you're going to seller? Because July 31st, a couple days away, is Buster Posey going to give up some of these players? Is Buster Posey going to try to add on to this team? Can they mount an attack to get into the wild card? 5 games back in the wild card. That's a long way. That is a big, big minus right there. So we'll find out. But this team's got to get going here. Something's got to happen. They need a win. They need a WIN, a win. Logan Webb on the hill tomorrow. His last 3 outings have not been too good. He's gone 15 in the third innings, given up 16 earned runs in his last 3 outings. He's got to be the stopper tomorrow before they get on that plane and fly to New York. What can happen, Giants fans? What can happen to this team? Tonight, I got to say, Justin Verlander, one of the best games he's thrown for the San Francisco Giants. Really threw the ball well, going 5 innings, 6 hits, giving up a home run to Peguera, a number 9 hitter that he probably felt he could throw a fastball by, but it leaked on the inside part of the corner. The kid was 4 for 15. He's 24 years old, playing shortstop. Didn't have a home run or an RBI for the season, hitting .265, and he was the one that spoiled that shutout going for Justin Verlander. Other than that, he was magnificent. 7 punch-outs, 3 by fastball, 1 by curveball, 2 by slider, 1 by sweeper. He had good stuff today. Threw 94 pitches, 62 for strikes, 15 first pitch strikes out of 22 hitters, 2 ground ball outs, 6 fly ball outs. Everything was working. He had a good rhythm going, had a good mix of pitches, 47 fastballs, 23 sliders, 15 curveballs. That's a perfect mix for him. And then you look at 6 changeups and 3 sweepers, 94 pitches. And when you look at all these pitches, 96-mile-an-hour fastball. The slider was 89 with a sharp break. Curveball was about 81. That's exactly where you want to throw an off-speed pitch. The changeup about 85. Everything was working for Justin Verlander today. And I really, really say this on a positive note, the best game he has thrown. The last game in Atlanta, he had something going. So maybe it's starting to kick in for him because the Giants need this rotation to get better. This Giants rotation is struggling right now. Carson Wisenhunt was in there yesterday. He's going to get a start. It looks like he'll be in against the New York Mets. It's not been probable yet. It's not been posted. He was in the game with Kruk and Kite talking about it. He says maybe, possibly. They really haven't told him. He is expecting it. I would think so. But then you have another hole to fill. If you remember, the bullpen had a game. So there's another hole to be filled in this rotation. You do have an off day Thursday, so you could push everybody up a day. But we got to figure out this offense. This offense is the big question mark right now. Can they score any runs? They've scored 43 runs in 11 games. They're hitting under 200. They're hitting under 230 with runners in scoring position. 28th out of 30 teams. It is starting to take place. It is starting to be stressful. And I hate to say it, it's starting to be ugly to watch. Infield blunders, base running blunders, and striking out once again. I'm Bill Lasky. This is Sports Phone KNBR. We're going to take a quick break. I got a lot of calls coming in. 415-808-KNBR. If you want to join me, Steve Kroner will join me later to talk about this game and more. But we'll take a quick break, come right back to these calls. I know Giants fans want to talk about this game as well as this season. So we'll be right back on the Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball into left field. Base hit. Gonzalez scores. Pham to third. He'll hold on there as Elliot Ramos charged the ball into shallow left. Threw it into the cutoff man, Chapman. And Joey Bart, against his old team, knocks in the go-ahead run here in the 8th inning.
Back on Sports Phone KNBR on a Tuesday night with Bill Lasky. A real funky inning in that 8th inning, as John Miller describes the base hit by Joey Bart. But there was a ball that hit by Haynes that Schmidt picked up, but Devers stood in the way. Tyler Rogers never knew where the ball was. Devers never even moved out, never even discussed about, here comes the ball, look over here. There was no communication. Schmidt just threw it. Devers ducked. Rogers was nowhere in sight of knowing where the ball was. Absolutely no communication. Nothing. No talk. No nothing. Devers needs to talk or go back to the bag. This is the inexperience of being a first baseman that he's trying to learn. But those situations you can't teach. Those are instinct situations, and that cost the Giants the runs that inning. That would have been the second out, and, of course, Peguera grounded out for the third out. There wouldn't have been any runs that scored that inning. So another mental mistake in the field as well as base running. Those things are so magnified when a team is losing. They've lost 5 straight. They've lost 7 home games. 38,142 people piled in there today to cheer the Giants on City Connect. And the Giants faltered once again. All right, let's get to the phone lines. Got some fired up fans tonight. Let's go to Peter in San Jose. Peter, you're on with Bill Lasky on Sports Phone KNBR. 5 straight losses. Tell me your thoughts.
Hey, Bill. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
You know, I'm disappointed, but I think on the whole, listen, the team's we're not a contender. I think that's the reality.
It's
I'm
sure
okay
sign. The signs are sure there for us watching this homestand. The homestand, I felt that they could make some moves, build a team, but this team is just not going anywhere right now at being 500.
Yeah, and you're a little closer to the bottom of the pack at this point than the top, and I think I'm okay with where we're at right now. I just don't want to sacrifice any of the future for a team that just hasn't shown enough now through 2/3 of the season. And I think it's really good timing that this is happening now before the trade deadline, because it might be forcing Buster to really, look at this as more of a long-term project than he had maybe anticipated based on how we performed over the first 80 games or so. But the last 30 games have really shown we're a very average team, and we're quite a few pieces away. And using, some of the circumstances that have made Camilo Duvall more valuable on the market now, with Emmanuel Clase being, out on the gambling probe, I think that's something to take advantage of. I think if the team is genuinely talented and you think they're going to perform better over the last 50 or 60 games, then getting rid of a couple of pieces for, some prospects that will help in the future, I think that's still more than on the table. That's something you should still consider and follow through on if you have the opportunity. Look at the Tigers last year. They got rid of that pitcher that went to the Tigers. His name escapes me right now. But they sold at the deadline, and then they got hot. So it doesn't necessarily preclude you from, performing well, or, down the stretch and making a run. But you have to just look at this as a long-term rebuild right now, and you're a little closer or a little further away from contention than we thought.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of prospects here. I think there's a lot of young talent. There's some good arms when you're looking at Seymour and Wisenhunt. You also have some great bullpen arms. You also have some quality infielders. It's just putting it all together, though. And that's the biggest issue, Peter. Why isn't it coming together? Why hasn't this team played any near as what they did since the All-Star break? 2-9 in 11 games. And you're losing to a team that's 45-62 going into the game today, even though they won 3 games. But these are teams that you have to put your foot down. We saw it with the Miami Marlins. We saw it with the White Sox. Now we're seeing it again with the Pirates. They are having trouble beating teams that have the worst record in baseball.
Totally. I'm really confused about why some of these guys just aren't stringing things together. I mean, Chapman, Ramos. I'm not sure about Lee. Lee's had some, tough injury stuff for 2 years before this season. So hopefully this is kind of the year he gets right and all that. But yeah, you have Chapman,
when you look at
Devers,
Jung-Hoo Lee, it's really his rookie year. When you think about it, Peter,
exactly.
It's really his first full year in the big league. So he's learning about playing every day, learning different ballparks, the travel days, all the different ways you get tired during a season. I just think those are things that he's going to learn about. Plus, when you look at his body type, I think he needs to get a little bigger. He's so tiny, and I think a lot of his speed is from that. But I'd love to see him put a little more weight on.
Same here. No, it's just tough to see a lot of talented players who we've seen perform well at different times. They just can't get it together, and it's tough. So hopefully it can get better, but I really do think
that's what I'm hoping. Let's hope it gets better. But right now we're really going spiraling down, Peter, and something's got to happen here. Somebody's got to come up and pitch and hit well, and maybe it's tomorrow with Logan Webb. Thanks for your call, Peter. Let's go to Marin and talk to JP. JP, you're on with Bill Lasky on KNBR. Tell me your thoughts about the Giants right now being 500.
Hey, Bill. Just crossing the Bay Bridge, coming back from the game. I brought over Bill. This team, no balls, Bill. No balls. I mean, Verlander gives you a game. He finally gives you one. Last game, he had a great game as well. But, I mean, he gave you something. And then we turn around and no hitting. The story of the season, 2 hits. Bill, no balls. I mean,
and they ended up going out 16 in a row. That's the other thing. After the double by Schmidt, 16 in a row. They didn't even get a walk. They never got on base after that, and that was in the 4th inning. So you're absolutely right, JP. Please watch your language, though, JP, if you don't mind. The hitting just is dismal. There's nothing here. There's nobody that, like you always say, the domino theory. One guy gets a hit, the next guy gets a hit, next guy gets a hit. We haven't seen that in a while. We haven't seen this offense come to life, not just for 1 inning, for 3 or 4 innings when they can add on. And right now, we haven't seen any life in this team this whole homestand.
And for me, it's just they can't even hit, but the no chatter in the dugout. I'm trying to get a sense of how they're feeling in the dugout, the atmosphere, and it's dreary. I mean, I remember Adames coming in, beginning of the season, making noise, getting everyone up and going. I mean, now, he's smiling, he's having a good time, but I don't see an energy. I don't see a character to the team. Not like the 2014
Yeah, he's been
Giants,
playing well. We can't
Giants.
say anything about
Adames.
Yes. Adames has been hot. He's been holding the load. He brought his average up to close to 240 right now. So he has been getting hot. He got hot in July. Of course, a home run today, his 16th home run on the year. And you start looking at numbers that he has, and they're getting better and better. 57 RBIs. As I said, he's close to 240. So he's playing his part, but we got to get some other parts to work here. You look at a puzzle piece, every piece is supposed to work with each other. And this team doesn't have that right now. The chemistry on this team is swing as hard as I can, and you know what? I'm not getting hit, so I'm going to swing harder and try to hit a ball out of the park. How many fly ball outs are we continuing to get?
I know. I just can't. I don't know what to do, Bill. I don't know what to do.
Well, the only thing we can do is watch them again tomorrow. That's the only thing we can do. We're not out there competing. We're cheering them on. We have definitely a lot of Giants fans that want to see better. I want to see better. We want to cheer them on. We want to see them win. We definitely don't want to see them keep going backwards. So something's got to happen. And the only way it can happen is you score a lot of runs and blow somebody out and try to make a little momentum on it. Because if they lose tomorrow, that's an entire homestand. You lose 6 in a row, and you lose to the Mets and you lose to the Pirates, high first-place team to a low team. That's the dismal thought that I'm having. And Logan Webb right now has to be the stopper, and he hasn't pitched well in 3 starts.
Yep. I think the
All right, well, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Mike. I'll let you go. Let's go to Lemo Dave in Roseville. Dave, you're on Sports Phone tonight with Bill Lasky. Tell me your thoughts.
Do we have any 7 of the next 10 against the Rockies coming up?
I don't even know if that's good, because when you're looking at all the last-place teams they're losing to, and the Marlins aren't in last place, but they were when they came here. And then you lose to the White Sox. Now you're losing to the Pirates. Who knows what the Rockies would do to them right now?
I don't know. On the defensive side, I think it's getting to be some lazy baseball. The last game I went to was that Phillies game on Wednesday, a couple weeks back before they went on the road trip. And Verlander pitched, and he actually pitched a decent game. He gave up about 3 runs over 5 innings, and then they went to the bullpen, and it kind of fell apart. But one of the things I saw was I saw Adames, and not to bash anybody, but Adames, and I forget, it might have been Casey Schmidt at second base, and it was like, here's a base hit that started a rally and scored a number of runs, and he's looking at Adames, and Adames is looking at Casey Schmidt. You got it, I got it, base hit, run scores. So I think some of that, not to mention the base running errors. Come on, guys, you guys have been playing baseball since you were 10 years old.
Well, it's an infield fly rule. It's an infield fly rule. Yeah, you freeze right then, Dave. You just freeze. You don't try to anticipate going forward. It's an out. It's an automatic out.
The base running thing, I think it's lazy baseball. These guys have
or focus baseball. I call it focus baseball, not knowing what to do when something happens. You focus on, what's going to happen? A ball's in the air on the infield. You hear the umpire call infield fly rule. You freeze. You don't try to go forward. You go backwards. And then they drop the ball, and he's caught in the middle, and it was this ugly baseball. And you had an opportunity. There was first and second with 1 out. That makes it the second out. And Flores comes up. But you take your team right out of the bottom of the first inning with a blunder on the bases.
And I think the Giant faithful feel like our number one announcing team. I mean, Crew Kype, everybody tonight, they all just sounded completely deflated. It's like they're all looking at each other going, I can't believe this. What's going on? And we did have that
one of the remarks Kype said. Yeah, one of the remarks Kype said, he goes, he doesn't know what to do on an infield fly roll. And literally, that's what he said. That's exactly what he said, and it's true. He did not know what to do. You see Matt Williams putting his head down because he's saying, go back, go back, go back. And Ramos was lost, and we saw Ramos do it again on base running. He has made some blunders on base running this year.
Down to Sacramento? I mean, he's batting, 270. He's got power and stuff.
You can't send him down. I just think he's really, really pressing right now. He's pressing in the outfield. The ball that was hit to left center, Jung-Hoo Lee, you could see it on television, screaming with his hands up, I got it, and he almost ran into him. He almost took the ball away from him, and those are just pressing. He's pressing on anything that can happen to him, and that's stress, and he's starting to think a little bit more. We saw him in Atlanta where he was when he made all those blunders the first game. You saw him the only one in the dugout. He was sitting there all by himself with his head down. That is pressure. That's the pressure of the big leagues. That's the stress of the big leagues. And he's a young man trying to make it. He's got a lot of talent. There's no question here. He's got a ton of talent. But sometimes in between the years, you don't focus.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. And and I still believe in Posey ball. I think Buster Posey is one of the best things that happened to this
he's
team.
great. He'll be great.
And,
I mean, it really, you don't blame Buster Posey, Bob Melvin, and you've got to blame the players here. The players are playing. They're making the blunders. The coaches tell them, hey, this is what's going on. It's focus and instinct and reaction. And that's what's happened with this team when they blunder. And that's what's happened today. Even with the at-bats, you see them rolling it over, swinging at the first pitch, fly ball. It gets to a point you're like, okay, how did the Pirates get 12 hits today? How did the Pirates get 12 hits? 12 hits, and the Giants only got 2. And you're looking at two teams that one's hitting 233 as a team and the other one's hitting 220. So things happen in baseball. Every game is different, but this has got to get better, and I think Giants fans are expecting better, and we'll see if it happens tomorrow. All right, we're going to take a quick break. It's a half hour. We're on a half hour, so we'll take a quick break, come right back on Sports Phone KNBR. I'm Bill Lasky. This is The Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Here is Ke'Bryan Hayes, and a ground ball to the right side. Far to his left goes Schmidt. Now there's nobody at first base. He throws the ball and hits the runner. Oh, my God. Rafael Devers went far to his right for that ball, and that left it to Tyler Rogers to get over there. He was not there yet, and Schmidt, anyway, was thinking about going to second. Pham hustled, and finally Schmidt decided against it. And then when he threw the ball to first base, Tyler Rogers did not know who had the ball. And the ball, fortunately, hit the runner. Hit him right in the midsection, Ke'Bryan Hayes.
All right, back on Sports Phone on a Tuesday night with Bill Lasky. A terrible play right there with Schmidt picking it up, but Devers was standing in between him and Rogers. Rogers didn't know where the ball was. He didn't know who even caught the ball. Like I said earlier, communication. You got to talk. You got to say things right then. Devers, inexperienced as a first baseman, I really believe he got in the way of that whole play. Schmidt came over and he threw it, and he's lucky he didn't hit Devers in the side of the head. He was right in the way. Rogers never saw it. He was looking to second base. So just a brutal play right there. Ended up loading the bases, and of course Joey Bart coming back today facing his old team, and he ended up getting a base hit to left field, and Joey Bart was pretty pleased with that. It was just a tough night. There was no offense. 2 hits, 1 home run by Adames, and a double by Schmidt. 16 straight outs right after that, and that was from the 4th inning on. The last out of the 4th inning, all through the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Not one hitter was on base. 16 straight outs. A tough loss for the San Francisco Giants, as now they are 54-54. 5-game losing streak. That's 7 home losses in a row. It's got to happen tomorrow. 12:45 first pitch right here on KNBR. Logan Webb takes the hill. He's 9-8 with a 3.38 earned run average against a 25-year-old right-hander, Mike Burrows, 1-3 with a 4.7 earned run average. Burrows' last start in Arizona threw a 3-hit shutout for 6 innings. 6 innings, 3-hit shutout. The time before that threw against the White Sox, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. Then Minnesota got to him, an inning and a third with 6 earned runs. So we'll see what Mike Burrows will show up tomorrow at 12:45 to face the Giants. All right, let's go to Tom. Tom's leaving the game. Tom, you're on Sports Phone with Bill Lasky. Tell me what your thoughts are from Oracle.
Hey, Bill, thanks for taking my call. I'm not happy. It's been a brutal last few weeks, and I disagree with what you said about that, it's the players that are at fault. I think the common denominator last year, as well as this year, is the coaching staff. I think Bob Melvin, the other coaches, the Giants have more talent this year. I think quite a bit more talent, and we're at the same place that we were last year. And
so, Tom, you're believing that the frustrations of the Giants at 54-54 are more Bob Melvin and the coach's fault than the players?
Absolutely. Yeah,
really? Okay. Have you ever played baseball before?
Absolutely.
I just want to ask you that, Tom. Have you? Well, how far did you get in baseball, Tom?
I played all the way through big league. I played high school. I think. I played like 10 years of baseball.
So you're telling me all the way when you played baseball, when teams faltered, when teams didn't hit, when teams didn't pitch, it's the coach's fault. It's not the player's fault. That's what you're kind of telling me.
It's the same thing. Okay, but it's the same dynamic as last year. The team, nothing has changed since last year.
All right, let me ask you this, Tom. What would you change in the coaching staff? Who would be your manager? Who would be your hitting coaches? Who would be the coaches that you'd want to see if they could resurrect this team? I'm not hearing anything.
I think there's other options out there.
Tell me some thoughts, because here's Bob Melvin and the coaching staff who worked their tail off. I know it. I'm there. They're teaching, they're coaching, they're showing all the discipline that how to help a team. But until the game starts, that's what their job is. Once the game starts, you're telling me you played. You can't do anything to the players when they're playing. It's up to the players to react and play. Sure, they're going to take some blame for it, but they can't take the full blame for it.
Yeah, no, I'm not
when I was pitching time, and I gave up 2 home runs, was it my pitching coach's fault that I threw 2 sliders right over the plate? Was it my pitching coach's fault when I gave up 4 runs in the 4th inning? No, it's the players' fault. And you got to take blame for it. The players are taking blame. You hear Matt Chapman. You hear Logan Webb. You hear these players saying, we love our coaching staff. It's us that have to perform. And that's what I'm saying to you. Sure, the coaches will take some blame, but you can't tell me that it's the coach's fault being 54 and 54. I'm not going to listen to that. It's the players' fault. They got to play better, Tom. Let's go to Mike in San Francisco. Mike, you're on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky. What's going on?
Mr. Lasky, it's a pleasure, sir. It's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing good tonight, buddy. I just wish the Giants would play better. I think we all do. I'm not here ripping on the Giants because I don't like them. I love the Giants. I'm a fan. I'm an analyst. I want to see them play better. But I
do
can't.
not. I don't call people out, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm not here to blame anybody. I'm just.
It's got to be a better brand of baseball, right, Mike? It's got to be a better brand of baseball. I think that's the whole picture here.
Definitely. I was just watching some Tim Lincecum highlights on YouTube, so that made me smile.
Beautiful.
But
I'm smiling too.
I'm a diehard fan. Anyway, I'm just it's I don't want to use a term that we're loaded, but I've been watching. I'm 47. I've been watching Giants since I was 5 years old, and
mm-hmm.
We haven't had 3 players of this magnitude, in my opinion. I want to say, now correct me if I'm wrong, but Devers, Chapman, and Adames, those guys are, if not stars, talented. Superstars. So,
they're talented.
I'm just, and then it's confusing because the trade deadline coming up, and Bill and I hear, we need pitching, but yet we need more hitting. But yet they're going to give up pitchers possibly. So I'm just calling to pick your brain. I'm Italian. I'm venting. So give me some of your knowledge, and I think the first thing,
Mike. I think the first thing that you got to look at, Mike, is starting pitching with Landon Roop out, and now you have Carson Wisenhunt filling a hole, and you had a bullpen. I think a starting pitcher is definitely needed. What they can get, if they're going to get a pitcher that could be a free agent at the end of the year, you're going to be a rental. Is it going to be a rental? Is it being someone that's under contract? I don't know which way they're looking at, though, but I think that's needed right now because if you look at AAA, you have Hayden Birdsong, who just had his first start, threw the ball well for Sacramento in 4 innings or so, gave up 1 run. He's on his way, but again, you're not going to bring him back up. He's got to build some confidence in AAA. And then you start looking, what else do you have? Carson Seymour, sure, he started in AAA. He's more of a bullpen arm. That's what they're looking at, more of a middle guy, long term, with giving him some length in innings. I think a starting pitcher is definitely needed. They're also talking, and I'm just reading trade rumors like we all do. They're looking for a right-hand power hitter because they look at the left-handed pitchers that throw against them. Going in tonight's game, they were 10-18 against left-handers. Now, if you count today's game, they're 10-19, even though the right-hander, Braxton Ashcraft, pitched his tail off, and so did Bailey Falter, the lefty. But I just don't know what they're going to give up. What do you want to give up? And you sure enough aren't going to give up a lot of talent in your minor leagues. You just don't want to give that up. So I don't know now, because I think they were looking at this homestand to see if they could contend against the New York Mets that were in first place in the NL East. They didn't. They lost 3 games, a couple good games, but they just couldn't pull it out. Then the Pirates come in here and take the first 2, and those are gut punches. No question those are gut punches. Teams that you should beat, they're not beating, and those are the last place teams like the Marlins were, the White Sox, the Pirates, and the Rockies. Those are the teams that good teams just roll over. and the Giants have had problems with that. So I don't know what the next step is. I can't even guess what they're thinking because every day is a different day of judgment. And I think with this 5-game losing streak on the homestand, it's really making this judgment questionable. I just don't know which way they're going to go. Could they sell? There's some pieces that people want. You keep hearing Camilo Duvall's name in there. You hear Robbie Ray's name in there. You hear some other pieces that could be sold. I just don't know what this team's going to look like, what they're going to build off of, and at the same time, we're going to find out. Thursday, July 31st is their trade deadline, and we'll find out what's going to happen here tomorrow. And then Thursday's their off day, and we'll find out if there's going to be any moves. But, Mike, I wish I could give you something positive here. I wish I could tell you something that could make this team better. I don't know. I just want to win. I think that's what I really want tomorrow. A win would make a lot of things better. All right, let's go to Jim in Fresno. Jim, you're on a Sports Phone KNBR Tuesday night with Bill Lasky. The team is 54-54. What are your thoughts right now?
Bill, saw him briefly in spring training for a day, and I thought at that time if they were 54-54 today, I would be ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that would be
well,
fun.
You know what? And you know what? When you look at all the guesses and all the analysts before the season saying, oh, they'd maybe win 80 games, and you're saying, no way. And they come out of the block and they're 16-11 in April, 3-1 in March. They're 19-12, and you're going, okay, this is a great start. Then May and June come, and they're 13-14 in both those months. And now you look in July, now they're 9-14. So it's gone backwards. But I just say this one thing, Jim. I think if you just get some wins under your belt and get a little more motivation with these guys, the adrenaline might show up. And let's just hope this offense starts.
Okay, two quick things. One, you talked about it, show or two back. I still think Fresno State's own Augie Garrido, somebody needs a brief Augie Garrido speech at some point in the locker room. Close the doors. And at least play a YouTube video of Augie. He was the best. I'm Fresno. I mean, when I was a senior in high school, he was coaching the Sierra High School baseball team. He went from there.
Okay.
The other thing is, listen to FP last night. He said that recently he spoke to a hitting instructor for one of the other teams who said a lot of these guys have their own metric guys and look at the tablets and really don't pay much attention to the batting coaches sometimes. And I think we've got a strong staff of hitting instructors, but I swear there's a reason, or I don't know the reason. I love Yastrzemski, but how often does he take a home run, strike one fastball, and then strike out in a ball in the dirt? It happens
he did that the
a
other day
lot.
too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a tendency.
And the elevated fastball and the breaking ball down. If I had to pitch to him, that's how I'd pitch to him. Sinkers away because he very seldom goes to left field. Elevated fastball, breaking ball down. But he is one of those type of hitters. When he's hot, he'll get 2 or 3 hits. When he's not, he's 0 for 3. That's what the problem is with this team. And going back what FP said about analytics, that's the way hitters look at it now. They're not looking at making a base hit or a batting average. I looked at this the other day, and you'll probably be shocked. How many 300 hitters do you think are in Major League Baseball right now, Jim?
I think there are 8.
7. Isn't that remarkable? Think about that. 7 300 hitters. And there's only one in the National League, and that's Smith out of the Dodgers. So you can see they're not really worried about batting averages. They're looking at driving in runs and home runs, and they're looking to lift. And that's where I think FP was talking about analytics when these guys look at their swing path and they look how hard they hit the ball off the bat. These are all things they're looking at. And the velocity and how can I hit off this guy? Where's my swing path going after this pitch? It's not like before where guys wanted to hit 300, 285, 290 was a good batting average. The batting averages are down. And this team right now, your top batting average is maybe 260, 265, and that's not making it.
Bill, I thought Adames' best swing last night was the double he hit down the right field line on a ball that was almost a foot off the plate because he reached out and put it in play. 2 months ago, he would have swung and missed that ball by a foot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When he's hot right now, the whole month of July, he's been scalded a ball. I love his reactions. Today, he hit that ball real well, that home run ball, 3-2 fastball. As you say, he is on the screws for his 16th home run. It's just somebody else. Let's get somebody else hot. You got to get somebody else going here. I thought Chapman was swinging the bat pretty well against the Mets. Today, he fly balls. It just seems like he got under everything today. And then the last one, he check swing on the breaking ball. It struck out. You had a lot of 0 for 4s today. Devers 0 for 4. Chapman 0 for 4. Flores 0 for 3. Jung-Hoo Lee 0 for 3. You know, that has to stop. You got to get some guys on base.
Okay, Bill, you also talked about communication. How do you motivate that dugout and motivate the communication if it isn't from the manager and the coaches? Where does it come from?
It's got to be the players.
When
Your players got to talk on the field. I'm talking on the field here. I'm talking communication on the field. You got to talk on the field, getting over to first base, knowing where to go as a pitcher. Schmidt had the ball. He didn't even know where the ball was because Devers was right in his way. You couldn't even see the ball. And when he threw it, Devers ducked, and Rogers didn't even know where the ball was. It was lucky he hit the runner. It's communication on the field. Just like, do you remember when Jung-Hoo Lee and Ramos missed the ball in left field? That's an out. That's an automatic out. On the field for an infield fly rule. What happens on that? That's instinct. You should know what to do on base running. That's all communication. It's all knowledge. It's all instinct. It's reaction. On the field, communication is what I'm talking about. In the dugout, I don't know what they're doing. They're looking at iPads. They're trying to talk between coaches and hitting coaches, pitching coaches. I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows what they're talking about. But, they're not going to go and give them a pep talk in between innings. These are big leaguers. They need to make better adjustments is what I'm saying, and the communication on the field has to get better.
Bill, why aren't they communicating on the field? What happened to them?
I don't know.
They did it earlier in the season.
I don't
why
know, and that's why I'm saying that's kind of why I'm calling them out tonight. They need to talk. They need to talk to each other. Communication, that's what makes teams better, especially on the defensive side. You see Adames and Chapman talking all the time. They know how far Chapman can go. You see how Adames does. The right side of the field, you got a rookie in Schmidt that never played second base, and you got Devers who's never played first base. And I think that whole play, it just shows you the inexperience on the right side right there.
Oh, we're in agreement there, without doubt.
So, you know what,
Bill,
Jim,
I
you
still
turn
got
the
faith
page
in him,
and you hope to
54.
hell Logan Webb throws a good game tomorrow. That's what you're hoping. We're hoping to see Logan Webb bounce back.
Logan bounces back. They win a ball game. I'm not worried about the trade deadline. I don't want to trade any of the pieces away. At some point, Buster's got to make a decision. If we've got Devers at first, what about the kid in Sacramento who's a first baseman?
Right. Well, he kind of mentioned that on ESPN Game Sunday where he said he's 20 years old. He needs to be a little bit better. He needs to groom himself. He's hitting the hell out of the ball. He's hitting only 225 as a batting average. He's got 7 or 8 home runs. Got a nice base hit today. I've been watching them. Got an RBI, but the batting average is down. Learning how to play first base. I don't know where they're going to put him. I don't see him coming up. I really don't think that Buster Posey wants to bring him up right now.
Okay, let's go out 2 years, and he's ready to come up in 2 years and start. Devers has 5 years left on the contract.
Right. Well, one's got a DH and the other one's going to play first base. I don't know. I wish I could look in my crystal ball and tell you all the answers. I mean, when you're looking at a long-term contract in Devers, they know what they did. They know how much money is owed. They know what kind of player he is. They're trying to find a way to fit him in. And I think that's where they're looking at first base as a possibility. Get him out there, see how many fielding errors he makes, see how many mental errors he makes, and there's been a few. But in the long run, they're trying to get him acclimated to play first base. And that's all we can do, Jim, is see what they do, throw him out there, and I'm sure they're watching him just like we are, and they're teaching him the right thing to do and hopefully not the wrong thing. But today, I think he got in the way of that one play. I think he was lost in no man's land.
First base requires more thinking than third base. Third base, you either make the play or you don't. First base, you've got to cut. You've got to cover the bunt. You've got to cover the perch. You got to pitch.
You sure do.
Things to do. You don't as a
first
third
base
base
is not as easy as everybody thinks. They always say, "Oh, he's retiring. Put him at first base." First base, there's a lot of action going down there, and a lot of throws going off the base. And what do you do coming off the base? Where's your feet work? Where's the perception of the ball? And where's the runner coming down? A lot of things. So we'll find out, Jim. But thanks for the call. A lot of good insight tonight. I appreciate your call. Let's go to Mike in Marin. Mike, you're on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky tonight. A tough loss. Giants are struggling. 5 in a row they've lost.
Thanks, Bill, for taking my call. You know, when we look at the trade since Devers got here, the Giants have the worst record in baseball. That's since
Really?
Devers got here.
I know they're 13 and 22 with him. I know that. It's been a struggle with him. I just feel today at the end of the game when I saw him in the dugout with his head down, he's stressing. He's put so much pressure on himself to do more than what is expected. It's just not working out right now.
No, it's not. And if you look at Boston, they have the third best record in all of baseball behind Toronto and what is the other team? There's one other team, Milwaukee, Toronto,
Yeah.
and then Boston. And the run differential that DraftKings said was a plus 50 for Boston and a negative 50 for the Giants since the Devers trade. So if you look at that, and you know that's probably the biggest reason why the Giants are going to remain a 500 team this year, next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. With Devers here, their run differential is so bad they have no chance. And if you look at Boston, they're flourishing. Plus, they saved $280 million to go get a super free agent.
Let me say one thing here, Mike. Mike, let me say one thing here. In they're 2-9 since the All-Star break. They've scored 43 runs in those 11 games. That's not going to get you many runs. That is not going to get you many wins in the big leagues. And then you look at runners in scoring position under 230. These are things that numbers, as you're throwing to me, these are numbers that just are ugly. These are numbers that you're not going to win too many games. So you can compare this with anybody else. This team is slumped. They're 9 and 14 in the month of July when it should be the opposite. They should be getting better, not worse. Now you're turning the page into August and September, and you got some tough teams coming in here. Plus, you got to go play the Mets and the Pirates again.
You're right, Bill, because the Giants were 12 games over 500 when Buster made the trade for Devers. Since then, they have the worst record in baseball. And I think it just right now, Buster made the wrong move by getting Devers, and he should have addressed some other needs. And, you know,
well,
it didn't
I don't
help
know about
by
that.
signing.
I don't know about that, Mike, because that's a very good player. I think what Giant fans haven't seen is the capabilities of this player. This player is a top 10 player, top 5 sometimes when he's hot. It just hasn't worked in this new uniform. It just hasn't worked, and Giants fans are frustrated. And you should be when you're watching this kid. He's hitting under 200 for the Giants. He's a 280 lifetime hitter. I understand all the fans saying, "Oh, it was a bad trade." I know you get tired of hearing this. Give him time. Give him this. You're tired of it. I know fans are tired of hearing that because we all say it. We all say it because you just get him. He'll get hot. He'll get hot. It just hasn't shown yet, and I think that's what we're all frustrated about. But Mike, thanks for the call. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Let's go to Garrett in San Mateo. Garrett, you're on a Tuesday night sports phone with Bill Lasky. Hope you're well.
I'm okay. I'm doing better than the Giants, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, we all are. I mean, hopefully everybody's healthy and ready to roll, but the Giants are struggling, and this homestand has made it worse.
It has. So I just want to run down a couple of just quick thoughts, hypothetical thoughts, and then so I'm to echo the last caller's thoughts. How is Rafi Devers feeling? He just got over here, started off hot, and now we're worst record in baseball. That must be terrible in his head. Ramos missing the infield fly. Actually, I'm going to give him a pass because I feel like he's the most consistent player, one of the most consistent players all year. He has a brain fart today. Terrible timing, but I'll give him a pass. I think Jung-Hoo Lee definitely needs to.
He's had a few, Garrett. Garrett, he's had a few blunders on the base path. This isn't the first one. He's had some. Running into third base on a ground ball during the Mets when it was a fair ball and he ran right into the out. That was one. Going past Matt Williams, trying to score when Matt Williams had his arms up and he gets thrown out at the plate. There are blunders. We're just not going to pick on Ramos, but I'm just telling you, today was an unexcused play on second base and an infield fly. That is inexcusable.
I mean, I think everyone is looking at it going the same thing, but I got to chalk that up to a brain fart. Either way, last thing, Bill, I think trade deadline here, we are sellers. We are sellers. We are sellers. We are trading. We are trading. We are trading. I love Justin Verlander as a player, but he's got a lot of value. He certainly wants to get some wins. Robbie Ray, I love you. See ya. I don't know any veteran players that have value to take just because here's my
the other
point,
name
Bill.
name has been floating out there is Camilo Duvall. The Mets were talking about picking him up, and it just wasn't enough. But you just wonder if they'll go back into that and see if they can add on another player or so. I just don't know what the front office is thinking. I don't think anybody does. They do, but as Buster Posey and all the other insiders say, it's day to day. Every day is, do we do this or we do this? Every day, every win, every loss, and these losses that are now making them 500, you just wonder if they're even going to think about adding pieces.
Well, my point has always been this since the season started and in the offseason. And I know Buster Posey is with me. He definitely cares what I think. He really does. When the Dodgers got Shohei, they got Yamamoto, they got Blake Snell, they got Roki Sasaki, I was like, okay, we're done. We are done for years. I called in, offseason and said, we're done for years. On paper, we can't compete. And even the Padres, same thing. On paper, we can't compete. So we are showing up exactly how we are supposed to show up. I don't think Giants fans are going to like it, but if Buster Posey
Garrett, that's your opinion, right, Garrett? That's your opinion. That is your opinion, and I grant your opinion. I will listen to your opinion, but I don't agree with that. I don't agree that we are back that far. I don't believe this team is that far away in competing against the Padres or the Dodgers. I don't. I think the talent is here. They just haven't played together well enough. The offense hasn't dwelled enough. The offense hasn't scored enough runs. Look at all the pitching that the Giants had in the first half that were holding this team in. The pitching staff was solid. You had a young Landon Root dealing. You had Ray and Webb being the top pitchers in the National League. So there are some good and bad here. I just don't think we're as far back as you think.
Yeah. I mean, the future is bright, just not right now. That's all.
I'll take it that way. I'll take it that way, Garrett. But I'm just not going to, agree totally that we're far that. I'm not going to agree with that. But you know what? You're absolutely right. I'm not going to say you're wrong. But you know what? We just we got to compete better. We got to win. That's what's going to make this team do anything if you win. When you lose, everybody puts nice in their back and starts blaming everybody. When you win, you forget about all the little minor mistakes on the field or the mental mistakes. But when they don't win and they lose, all those mental mistakes are driven into, why did he do this? Why wasn't he better? Why didn't you communicate? That's the difficult part on wins and losses, and you know that, Garrett. But thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate your time. Let's go to Gary. Is it Daly City or Cal City? Gary, where are you from?
Cal City, South Central California, bottom of Central California.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. I thought it said Daly City, but my mistake. Well, welcome in from Cal City tonight.
But, Daly City has a lot of Giants fans, so does Cal City does. Kern County and Fresno County both have, they're second to the Dodgers. They're second most amount of fans in both of those places. You take Fresno and Bakersfield, Dodgers, Fresno, and Giants are right behind them.
Well, good. I'm glad you're calling in tonight from Cal City. I appreciate your time tonight.
That's East Kern County. That's right near Edwards Air Base, right north of Edwards Air Base. 67 miles.
Well, what's going on today, Gary? What do you want to talk about tonight?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. They ought to, instead of getting some worn-out players from these other teams trades, they ought to go scout around at these colleges. Get some of these little ERA people from colleges and universities. There's a lot of good players they can get from those.
Well, they just had the draft. They just had a really good, successful draft. They've signed 17 of the first 17 rounds. They are doing some great. They picked up some great college players. So the draft was done. They have a good abundance of infielders, outfielders, some great pitchers. Plus, down in Dominican, they signed some really young talent. I just think what you're saying is you need more scouting out in the Bay Area, outside, like you're saying at Cal City or around the areas, to bring in some better college players. That's kind of what I'm getting here.
I grew up in the Bay Area. I lived in the Bay Area for 26 years, almost 20. And I've seen how the Giants attendance fluctuates when they do bad. And I know from and there's a lot of, you have that time when I was growing up, you didn't have Oakland A's, you didn't have any idea Dodgers, Angels, and Giants, and that's it. So if you were wanting, you had to be one of those.
So what do you think the Giants need to do to turn this around? I just want to kind of get to that point, Gary. They're 54 and 54. What are they missing?
Well, they need to, how's their Sacramento farm? They seem like they're using Sacramento a lot, but what about their San Jose farm team and their AA farm
Well, they're
team?
still young. They have to develop. They're never going to bring them up to the big league level. There's
develop,
nobody that's that good. They can develop. They go from San Jose. They go to Eugene, which is a higher A. And then they go to Richmond, which is AA. And they've been moving players. There's no question. They are doing the talent-wise. And if they feel that they can jump to the next level, they do it. That's what's great about their coaching staff. That's what's great about Randy Wynn, who goes and watches all these players. They're developing players, no question. But is it a big league level player? They're not ready yet. A big jump is from big leagues or AAA to the big leagues. There is a huge jump on the pitching side to face big league hitters. Same thing with hitters. The pitchers in the big leagues are much better than they are in AAA. You can hit 350 in AAA and come up here and hit 150. The talent is there in AAA, but there's a little extra talent to make it to the big leagues.
I've seen that at Rancho Cucamonga, too, down in San Bernardino. I've seen a mini
You're right. Well, Gary, thanks for the call tonight, Gary, and I appreciate you calling me from Cal City, but have a great night. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, I'll be on Sports Phone KNBR tomorrow as well as Thursday with the trade deadline. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do for the second hour, I'll be on from 7 to 9 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I am going to honor Dave Parker. Dave Parker was a friend of mine. I got to compete with him. I ended up interviewing him in 2021. And I also have Bill Madlock and Don Robinson, who's going to join me to talk about Dave Parker and his Hall of Fame days and what he was as such a good player. So if you have time tomorrow, join me. The second hour, we're going to talk about Dave Parker. Of course, the Pirates are in town, and some great insight. And the interview that I had with Dave Parker in 2021, just some great clips we're going to play. So join me tomorrow if you want to hear a little baseball story from 8 to 9. That's going to be on 8 to 9 from 7 to 8. We're definitely talking Giants baseball, and we'll probably update if there's any trades. So we'll come back. Steve Kroner is going to join me. Of course, he writes for Associated Press. We'll find out what he thought of the game and what the Giants need to get back on the winning ways. So you know what? Check in. We're still on. We're still going. I'm Bill Lasky. This is a Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Well, on the Roger Schmidt play, you know, Casey's still kind of learning the position over there too. Probably took too long a look at second. And that Tyler going there, runner coming down the line, you know, just was late getting it to him. So, you know, as far as Elliott goes, just lost track of the rule. You know, he saw him call the infield fly rule, just lost track what he needed to do.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR. That was Bob Melvin talking about Elliot Ramos on that fly ball that was an infield fly rule, saying he just kind of got confused. He didn't know what he was supposed to do going from second to third or whatever. But, you know, it comes about focus, knowing rules, knowing where you are, knowing the game. And I think that's what kind of Bob Melvin kind of just put a little frosting over it, saying, okay, we just got to talk to him a little bit more, educate him a little bit more. And I think that's the big thing that all these runners need to do. A lot of blunders on base running this year. All right, let's go to the calls. Let's go to San Jose and talk to Nima. Nima, you're on Sports Phone with Bill Lasky. How are you?
Hi, Bill. Thanks for taking my call. Firstly, these calls by John Miller I'm hearing again are hilarious. He goes, "Oh my God," and then base running and all that. They're pretty fun to listen to. But I have to call because the game was. I've been watching the Giants for 2 decades almost, and this is probably one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. And everyone's calling and trying to blame one entity or one person or one group of people, but this is a classic case of everybody is at fault here. The players need to know the rules. At the same time, though, on a really well-coached team, you don't have these kind of errors where the Ramos one and then the Casey Schmidt one, man. Like he threw it. I mean, nobody was there. I kind of laughed because that's a major league movie in real life happening. You know, it was just
You're
bad.
absolutely right. No, you're right on every point you just said. No. You're right on everything you just said, and I commend you for that because that's what's happening here, and it can't happen like that. This is the big league level. These things should be already ironed out, Nima.
Exactly, and on top of that, you had 2 hits, one of them being a home run. And you know, since we got the acquisition from Boston, I forgot his name, Devers, is it? He hasn't performed well. That one seems like a mental situation because maybe he's just the way the breakup happened and whatnot. I think it's in his head, which is why he's not batting well. Otherwise,
that's a good point.
How can you explain someone dipping like that? It's just, I mean, it was so sudden. Unexplainable. So
don't you feel, Nemo, that don't you feel he's putting a lot of pressure on himself? I think every at bat is like that. When he misses a pitch or you see the expression on his face, if he strikes out, he'll look at the big screen to see the pitch real quick. I just sometimes you stress out. You're putting so much stress on yourself for every at bat. One of the things he said is, I want to play on the field because I don't want to sit in the dugout thinking about my next at bat. Well, I pitched for many years. I've been in many dugouts. To me, that's just stressing yourself out for the next at-bat. You should be relaxed. You should be wanting to go up there on a nice fluid swing. And I think what he's trying to do is be the savior. I think he's trying to be the man, right. And it's just not working out.
Right. No, and on top, good point, because, again, that goes to the mental state of him. He's putting so much pressure because he wants to prove a point almost by being traded by the Boston Red Sox. He wants to really show it to them and show everybody else that he's going to do well, and it's adding extra pressure on it. Talk about anxiety, right? If you're sitting there thinking about your next at bat, that's a psychological situation. Which I mean, I didn't play baseball, you did, but from what I hear, psychological issues go in hand with baseball tremendously. So
I like what you said in the first thing you said, though, Nima. One of the first things you said is you can't blame one person. You got to blame everybody because there isn't one person in that dugout or clubhouse that's saying, hey, I'm doing my job. What about you guys? Because everybody's been there. Everybody's had ups and downs. Yeah. And the down part right now is this homestand because they have not played quality baseball as Giant fans and Giant players expect.
Yeah, and lastly to say, because I don't want to take much of your time, being realistic as a Giants fan when everyone says should they be buyers or sellers, let's be realistic about it. First year with Posey, they're collecting some talent and they're doing some due diligence on the back end and they're doing well. They're obviously going to need some time. Instead of worrying about buying and selling, let's just have the year end, not having expectations at all. Because let's be real, this team's not going to World Series, right? So if they're not, you want to make the playoffs, but if you don't at the same time, you don't expect it. So therefore, just try your best and move on to next year. At least you're accumulating talent.
I like that, Nemo. I think expectations
can't happen.
Yeah, I think this team, the expectations, you got to go day to day. I think you just got to go series to series. See if you can win the series. See how you can do the next road trip when they go to New York and Pittsburgh. You just got done playing them all. You just lost 5 games against the same team you're going to play next week. How are you going to change that? How are you going to make adjustments? How are you going to focus? Now you're going into their den. And let me tell you, the Mets have really a good record at home. They're 37-16 at home, and they just took 3 games from you. So you got to fight back, Nemo. You know this. I will. You're a fan. I'm a player. You got to fight back, and the only way to fight back is you get that first win. And once you get that first win, you got to make it better the next game and the next game. How do you do that? You said it. Everybody's got to make it. Everybody's got to be a part of it.
Yeah, this is where the true character and grit and pride comes here. Now, you're down. You're gonna go next week. Let's show these, what we're about. Otherwise, if we're gonna lay flat like that, then that's on you, and you should just get rid of everybody at that point. Yeah, Bill, you're awesome. You're phenomenal. Thanks for staying up all the time, man. Appreciate
Nemo,
it. Yeah?
thanks again. Thanks for your call, man. Really some solid points. Appreciate it. Call in more. I really appreciate your call. Let's go to Daniel in Sacramento. Daniel, on your late night sports phone with Bill Lasky. A tough loss. The Giants are now 54-54. What do you have for me tonight?
Well, Bill, I really called to get input from you, but if you were to tell me in early June we were playing against Colorado, I was confident we're going to sweep that series because we swept Atlanta previously, and we're heading into a
4-game series. You had a 4-game series in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, in early June, it was just 3. But I was expecting them to sweep Colorado. They lost the 3rd game, which is really a downer. They announced Devers' trade, which added a lot of energy and charisma to everything, and it's just been a downward slide since then. And I've called you a number of times since that trade, and I've been a Debbie Downer about Devers all along, but I've softened my view, and I think it's not Devers at all. I think it's the entire team, like this previous Nima said.
Yeah, I think that's.
I wonder,
from
your opinion, is it just like a mental block, like a writer who has writer's block? When they get onto the field and they start defending, that they just have an attitude issue? Because tonight, I'm watching them playing, and they've lost 2 runs in the 7th inning, and I'm watching Devers standing there flat-footed eating sunflower seeds and joking around. I'm not blaming him. I'm seeing that, and I'm thinking, why isn't he in a stance getting ready for the next play? Why
you see a lot of talking on the field. You see a lot of player-to-player talking. You see Adames doing it a lot. You see them all doing it. Everybody that's plays first, second, or third, you see him. Chapman doesn't do it a lot. He may say a few words, and he'll be out of there. But you see Adames talking to a lot of players at second base. You see Devers at first base talking a lot. And I'll tell you, you probably heard me say this. Back in my day, nobody talked to anybody. That was your opponent. Right. You didn't talk to anybody. They're your enemy. I just don't know if that's changed in the game of baseball. Everything's changed so much, and I can't realistically say if they even say anything to him anymore.
But could it be something in their head, something blocking their minds from focusing directly
I think they're pressing.
on their
I really think they're pressing. I think they look around this clubhouse and they see all the talent they have, and they have a lot of talent in that. They have a winning team in that clubhouse. They have winning players that know how to win. But the expectations, I don't know if they're believing that they're just going to come out of it and win 20 in a row. I don't know what their thought pattern is. They work hard. They're in there early. They're looking at film. They're preparing. And then you get them on the field and 16 up, 16 down. When they had 3 and 2/3 after Schmidt hit the double, nobody got on base after that. There wasn't a walk. There wasn't a base hit. 16 up, 16 down. That's not a formula to win. That is not a formula to even give you good effort.
when they walked in against Colorado in that third game in June, they were 40-28, before that loss. And if you were to tell me at the end of this month that we would be at 500, I would say hell no. There's no way. Because I had every confidence that the Giants would be ending the season as contenders. But now they're fighting for air. And they haven't swept a single series since Atlanta in early June. And they've lost more than they've won. And it just boggles my mind.
They won two out of 3 in Atlanta this last road trip. But the point of it was they lost 3 to Toronto. Then they come home and they lose 3 to the Mets. Then they lose again to the Pirates. It's just formulating where, you got to get out of the losing streak. Something's got to change. Somebody's got to do something. Like we always used to say to the starting pitcher, you're the stopper. You got to go out and throw a shutout. You go out there and make it your game. You go out there and bust your tail. That's why when starters would lose back and forth, I'm the stopper now. I'm going to go out there and bust my tail and get you 7 innings. I'm going to go get you throw a 9-inning shutout. That's the mentality that we had as baseball players back then. The mentality now, I'm not in that clubhouse because I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know how hard they're trying. You hear them in post-game shows. No, we're upset. No, we're not playing well. We're not playing what we should. But we're not seeing it on the field. And I think that's what's frustrating for me as you and all the fans. 38,142 people came to the ballpark today and they got 2 hits. 2 hits. That's not good baseball. That's not winning baseball.
Game, and you just hear conversation. There's no one clapping. There's no energy in the stadium. Like the fans went in there.
And that's what you want. You want that ballpark to be on your side. You want those Giants fans to be there. You want the energy from those fans. And this homestand has just been the opposite. So we'll see. Hopefully they can maintain get a win tomorrow and see what this road trip takes. But thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to, is it Avia from West Sacramento? I might be saying your name wrong. I apologize.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for getting my call, Mr. Bill. Anyway, briefly, I just want to make a brief comment.
Please.
Like I said, ever since they got this 331 million slugger, they call it, they put so much attention. And to me, after watching and seeing the downfall of my favorite team, I think we got a jinx. Okay, so my suggestion, my proposal is this. Let us rewind. Let us reset. Go back to the basics. At the beginning when they're winning, put Flores back to the first base and the other teams. Everybody are talented. They worked hard. But it seems to me it's affecting their psyche because they think, oh, Devers is going to save us. Oh, Devers is going to hit the home run. Oh, Devers. No. Let us start all over again. Give Devers a break. Let him sit down, and tomorrow let the pitcher, Webb, do his job and have the basic original people. Chapman in third, Smith at the second, and Flores at the first, and all the same one. How about that? That's my proposal.
Well, I agree with you at one point, though, Avi. I understand what your frustration is, and I think a lot of Giants fans are looking at Rafael Devers and saying it's a bust. He's not pitching. He's not hitting well. Now he's playing first base, and it's inconsistent play at first base. It doesn't just work like that in a month. It's got to give you some time, and I know Giants fans are tired of all the analysts and all the hosts saying, give it time. We want to see answers. We want to see better baseball. We want to see better at-bats. And that's what I want to see too, but it's just not happening. It's not happening, and all the focus is going right on him. And every at-bat when he strikes out or pops out, we think, man, this guy was a bust. And you're absolutely right in seeing that, and you're absolutely right in saying we want to see that team that was winning before he got here. And so do I. I want to see this team win. But Rafael Devers is here for a while, and he's just got to get in this form of playing in the Giants and understanding that he has to relax and be the player that he is. Frustration? No question. Is he pressing? No question. But are we as fans going to give up on him? You can't. And that's what I'm hoping, that maybe you'll take a little bit of edge off of him and let's see what he can do down the road. I appreciate your call. Let's go to Rick in Haywood. Rick, you're on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky. A tough night for the Giants. 5-game losing streak. It's not getting any better, but it's got to change.
Yeah, this is my third time trying to call you tonight. But the BART train doesn't do good for calling you coming home from the game. So, anyways, I was there. I have to say that play by Devers at first base when he got in the way of Schmidt, that was totally on him. And I blame management for putting him in that position. This is 2 games now, Saturday's game tonight. Not that this game was lost by that play, but where he's been in a position where he's not ready to play the position. And that's ridiculous. That's on ownership or management.
I'm 100% agreeing.
That's on
I'm
management.
agreeing with you there.
Okay, I know you are. I hear it, but I mean,
you know, Rick, it's something that they
you
want.
can't.
There's something that they are trying to make him into a first baseman. This is what they are doing internally. That's all I can tell you. I'm right with you.
I agree.
He's not ready. He's not ready to play first base. He's not.
Right.
Mentally,
The best
physically.
defensive.
Yes.
No.
Go ahead.
The best defensive first baseman was on the bench tonight, Smith. You know, Dominic Smith is the best defensive first baseman. You know, and that was key. Now we go to Ramos. This man has to be benched. If Will Clark were the manager of the team, if you had 3 guys that I'll name, Frank Robinson, Will Clark, not ever a manager, but Will Clark the person, and if we had a guy like Piniella, he wouldn't be playing tomorrow. There would be no way he'd be playing. It's on him to know the rules. That's ridiculous. Right. He was so far off second base, Bill, they could have walked the ball to second base and got it there before he got back. I mean,
Rick,
the guy, I couldn't believe it when I looked down.
Let me just say one thing, Rick. You hear the umpire say infield fly rule. His hand comes up, infield fly rule. You go back to the bag. It's a react. You just go back to the bag and you stand there. Infield fly rule tells
he was
you
too
the
far off
batter
in
is
the
out automatically.
He was too far off in the beginning. It was like I couldn't believe how far he was off when the ball was even in the air. I looked down, I'm like, why is he in the middle between second and third? And then you know, there was nothing there. On top of that, his defense has been killing us too. The team. I'm sorry, the team. It's been killing us. I mean, and bottom line, he's
since
batting.
the All-Star break too, don't you think? Since the All-Star break, Toronto, he's had some blunders. Atlanta, that first game was really bad. I don't know why either, because in the beginning of the year, I really felt he did a lot better. He improved coming in on balls, going over his shoulder, making good throws. And all of a sudden, like the last maybe 3 weeks, it's gone south. And there's no consistency. Just like today, you know, Jung-Hoo Lee, you could see him on TV screaming, I got it, and Ramos almost hit him. He almost ran into him. And even Kruk and Kuip said, I don't understand why he was even close to the play. Those things can't happen. In Atlanta, when the ball dropped between them, it was Atlanta or maybe it had been the Met game, when the ball dropped between them and nobody caught the ball. That was Atlanta. That was the first game. When the ball was nobody, either one of them, they looked at each other and the ball landed in between them. That's unexcusable. Those are things that have to happen. Those are things that have to be better.
It's not just Ramos. I mean, you look the other day, it might have been yesterday where Lee was coming in on the ball. It might have been Sunday. I'm getting my days mixed up. But Lee was coming in.
Right.
Wisely was going out, and Ramos was coming in. It was Lee's ball. I don't know what the heck Wisely was doing three-quarters of the way out in the outfield.
Bermuda Triangle, too. Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle, and Wisely went too far out. Ramos was coming in from left field. That was almost in straight center field. He shouldn't have even been close. And Lee's kind of being a little hesitant now. You notice how he's being a little – there was a ball today that was hit that he kind of laid low and it dropped in front of him. He's been really good at center field. I cannot go against him. He's made some dynamic plays out there.
No, I think what you're talking about is the second single in the 8th inning that got them to 2 runners on base where he laid back, and if he took a run at it, he might have had it in that dive effect. But, yeah, I totally agree with you. I was like, he's playing it safe. He doesn't want the ball to get by him. Okay, so this leads me to my next point. Listening to this whole night, I've got a lot of perspective. Instead of calling right away, I've got a chance to listen to all these callers. And the caller that called you and said that, and I don't think he had an answer for you because you asked the best questions, was fire Melvin, fire the coaching staff, fire everybody. It's the coach's fault. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You can't put it on. If the guy, all right, number one, the caller doesn't know baseball. He said, well, I played some pro minor league. No, I mean little league. All right, little league. Your parents coached it. He never played professional ball, and this is a problem with a lot of people. People that don't watch the game on a daily basis tend to blame the coaches. It's always been this way.
It's always
been
that way.
It just.
And there's a way where there is. Coach. When you're looking at the Rockies, how they fired Hensley Mullins, the team was sinking. There was nobody hitting. The teams in last place, they were like 9-40. I can see them if they're going to start getting rid of coaches and they get rid of Bud Black to try to change the momentum of the team or change the voice in the clubhouse. I can see that. Same thing with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did the same thing. The Pirates are in last place. They fired the manager. I can see some changes like that, but this team doesn't need that. This team's got exceptional coaches. They got a very good manager, and I will protect them in ways that I can. Sure, they make mistakes. We all know they do. Not one manager doesn't make a mistake, but you said it perfectly. You got to know the game. If you're just going to call in and say, fire this guy, tell me a reason why. And like I told him, who else is going to manage? Tell me somebody else that's going to manage. Well, they'll find somebody. Well, you just can't say that without some kind of proof. Am I right?
You're totally right. I get there's many reasons why managers are fired. Pressure from above, number one. And that was one of the things in Colorado where Bud was put in a no-win situation and he had to fire somebody. And then, lo and behold, the pressure was put on the GM to fire Bud, even though it's not Bud's fault. The owner doesn't spend any money in Colorado. It's the same thing in Oakland or whatever they are now. I mean, Bob's been getting this rap of not being a good manager all the way back when he was with the A's. And I don't understand it. The guy consistently gets under-proven players to develop over their heads. Now he's got a roster, and it's not perfect, but I'm sorry, Bill.
It's better. It's better than what we expected, right? And that's how I always say it's better than what we expected. Just like the one caller said, if you told me they're 500 on July 29th, I'd have been happy watching them in spring training. Sure, that's an expectation. But the way they started and the way they are now, I think baseball has gotten worse. I think they need to get better in the field, in the hitting part, even on the pitching side. But how do you change that? You can't just start firing people. It's the players that need to focus more. It's the players making those instinctive plays. And it's the knowledge of the player. And that's where I go back to Elliot Ramos. How much has he played every day since he came from AA or AAA? He hasn't been in the big leagues that long. So we do have to give him a little rope, but the rope is getting shorter because he's making too many blunders.
Yeah. Well, I have one last question, and you're the only one that can really answer this because you've been on some good teams. You've also been on some pretty bad teams. Tell me what a players-only meeting is like when there's players in there that point the finger. Because that's what people want.
They do, but they don't. I'm going to tell you, they don't, Rick. They don't go in there and bash each other. They will not bash each other. They'll be more of a brotherhood and stick to each other and stick with each other if they're making a mistake, if they're not pitching well, if they're not hitting well. You'll have more guys going up there and putting their arms around them and saying, don't worry about it, we're playing tomorrow. These players, just like when I played, they say it's 162 games. We got to fight till the last game. But when you're in losing streaks like this, the pressure mounts. The pressure is starting to mount inside the clubhouse. You can see it on the field. You see it in their expressions. You see them looking at each other. You're looking at the iPads. How did I make that mistake? But today, it just was a day where I go, okay, let's get going here. Today's a good day. Let's go, And Verlander threw well. I'm real happy to see Justin Verlander. But when 16 outs come at the end of the game, 16 straight outs, That's not winning baseball. That's not good baseball, and that's not good hitting. And that's where I put the period to it. This team is struggling. And somehow, some way, Rick, they got to figure it out. We can't. The coaching staff can't. The players have to perform better.
One of the things, Bill, that I don't see at the game is I don't know the pitch counts, but I could tell you there was a lot of first or second pitch swings by the Giants today.
A lot.
And one of the things that got Justin off was that first inning. He gave up, what was it, McCutcheon had him for 12 pitches, I think, on the second at bat.
He threw 21
so he was
pitches.
Right in the,
21 pitches the first inning.
Yeah, it seemed like he was at 42 or 43 through the third inning.
42 after two, 60 after three. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're right.
So unfortunately,
a lot of pitch counts, and those are deep counts. Those are deep counts because he only gave up one run. That was a home run, but they got into a lot of deep counts. But he was throwing the ball well today. When you look at 15 first pitch strikes out of 22 pitches, I thought that was one of the better games he's thrown.
I agree. Oh, well.
Rick, thanks for the call. Really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate all your analysis. I really do. Let's go to Sean in San Rafael. Sean, you're on a late-night sports phone. I'm waiting for you, my friend. Tell me what your thoughts are.
What's up, Bill? How you doing?
A lot of good calls tonight. I think people are understanding what I'm saying and defending the coaches and Buster Posey, and I'm defending them to a point of let's look at what the players are doing on the field and the strikeouts, the blunders and base running, the bad pitches here and there, and communication. I think you've heard me say this the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's stuff that is definitely needs work. I mean, Ramos obviously making that blunder early in the game when you had a chance to score with those. I think it's kind of been just overall stretching the All-Star break that we've been playing.
I can barely hear you, Sean. Are you on a speakerphone?
500 at July 29th. I would have felt pretty good about it, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like since we got all that, you got off to a great start. We were pitching well. We hit fairly well, but we had some guys who weren't hitting, like Willie Adames, for example. A lot of people said, once Willie Adames is hitting, watch out for this team. Well, now Willie Adames is hitting, but we can't really do much else.
Yeah. Boy, I was right there with you, too. I was listening to the same thing, Sean, and I was hoping that he would, and now he is, and now the other guys aren't hitting with him, and I think that's the miscommunication when you start saying, oh, this guy's going to hit. Now Chapman's going to hit. Now Devers is going to hit. We wish that would happen. We were hoping it would happen. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to give up on this team. I'll be out there on Wednesday. I'll be in New York. I'll be in New York Friday and Sunday. So I'll still be out there rooting on the guys, but it's getting tough now.
It is. It's getting tough, and I think all Giants fans are feeling the same thing. I think Giants fans are feeling as much pressure as the players to try to get a win, try to get some wins going. This homestand has just been Debbie Downer, as I always call it. It's just one game after another, and nothing's changed, and the momentum isn't there. The adrenaline isn't there. It seems like they're just laid back playing, and we see it, and it's just a bad watch. It's just like, come on, guys, kick it into gear and play better and catch better and make the plays and hit the ball better. And we're expecting better, right? I think that's the whole key, Sean.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've shown that they can do it. I think that's what really made most of the Giants fans mad is they've shown that they can do it. They've shown they can play great baseball. They've shown that they can play mistake-free baseball. And now, when it's coming down to it, they're just not executing. And I think
thanks for the call, Sean. I appreciate your time tonight. Go out there and root them for a win tomorrow, and call me tomorrow on Sports Phone. You can tell me you were the guy that told me they were going to win on Wednesday. But thanks for the call. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, bring on Steve Kroner, talk some more baseball as Sports Phone KNBR continues right here on the Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Swing, and there's a high pop-up right out in the middle of the infield. The infield fly rule is called. The ball drops, but he was already out. Now the throw to second, and Ramos must have forgotten about the infield fly rule. He was off the bag. They picked it up. They threw to second, and he was easily out. Man, that is horrible base running. The inning is over. Wilmer Flores has the bat taken right out of his hands.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR, John Miller talking about the blunder of Elliot Ramos in the first inning, first and second with one out. A pop-up on the infield, and Matt Chapman pops it up, and the third baseman, Hayes, lets it drop. Infield fly rule was called. The batter is automatically out. The runners could advance on their own terms. Well, Elliot Ramos didn't know the rule. He was caught between second and third. He got picked off at second. The inning was over. A blunder by Ramos on the base path. Unexcusable, no question about it. But you know what? There was a lot of other things that happened in this game where the Giants lost 3-1. They're now 54-54. My good friend Steve Kroner's on. Of course, you can read him at the AP when he covers the Associated Press on the game. He wasn't there tonight, but I know he watched the game. Let's bring in Steve. Steve, how are you?
Bill, I'm doing okay. How are you, young man?
Well, I think you've been listening to the calls tonight. A lot of frustrated fans, a lot of angry fans, and fans are really upset of how the Giants are playing.
It's hard to get them off the ledge, so to speak. I mean, sometimes you can try to rationalize certain things, and it is a 162-game season, and teams go into slumps and then get hot. But the way they've looked since the All-Star break ended and the second half began is not good. There's no way around it.
2-9, Steve. 2-9. Of course, they went up to Toronto with a lot of energy, a lot of anticipation. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers before the All-Star break. I think everybody was expecting a little better there. But they went up to Toronto, got swept, and they also had Webb and Ray pitch those games. They go to Atlanta. They take the last 2, coming home with a little momentum. The Mets beat them 3 times, and now the Pirates are ready to sweep them too.
Yeah, that's why fans are probably a little angry, disappointed, all of that right now. I mean, I think you got to look forward to less than 48 hours. What do Buster Posey and Zach Minasian do? I can't believe that right now that you would be a big buyer. I mean, the season is not over. They are 5 games out of a playoff spot with 2 months to go. That's certainly not a hill that's too hard to overcome. But the way they're playing right now, it doesn't look great. And not only are you 5 games back of the last spot, but you've got 2 other teams in between. You've got to get past 3 other teams to get that third wild card spot. Again, that's certainly not out of the question, but I don't think right now that you would give up, say, a top 10 prospect in your organization to get a rental pitcher, where maybe even a week ago, after the Giants had won the 2 games in Atlanta, maybe that's the kind of deal you would have made. But seeing what they've done the past 5 games and looking at the standings right now, I don't think you can afford to do that.
And they've all been saying, you hear them both saying it. You hear them on KNBR talking, and they say it's day to day. We make changes day to day. I think that's the way they're looking at this, Steve. They're looking at, hey, are we getting better? Is this you always hear this. We like our team. We like what we have in our clubhouse. We like the way they're gelling, the brotherhood, the team. But when they go on the field, it's not like that. And it's the inconsistencies, and I'm calling them blunders. I'm calling them not focused. You texted me. You and I both texted when Ramos got called out on the infield fly rule. That is just bad baseball. It was so ugly at that time. You saw Matt Williams put his head down. What happens there? Tell me, if you're Ramos, what did you do right? What did you do wrong?
that one is just hard to understand. I mean, the infield fly rule, when you're in Little League, you know what the infield fly rule is. I mean, the play in the 8th inning, as awful as it looked, if you take it bit by bit, you can sort of rationalize each guy's mistake. Because Devers hasn't played a lot of first base. That's a ball he should not try to go after. But if it's his 3rd or 4th time playing first base, you can understand how he made that mistake. We forget Casey Schmidt hasn't played a lot of second base.
Right.
I mean, he was a third baseman in college. He was a third baseman coming up through the system. They thought maybe he could be a shortstop too. He hasn't played a lot of second base. I'm guessing, and this I don't know for sure, that he probably took too long in deciding whether to go to second to try to get the force or to go to first. And then you can sort of see how Tyler Rogers got confused because Devers was blocking his view. He assumes the ball is going from second base, from Schmidt to Devers. He doesn't see to Adames, excuse me, he doesn't see because Devers is blocking his view. So all of that, even though it looks so ugly, if you take it bit by bit, you can understand each guy's mistake. There's no way to understand the mistake that Elliot Ramos made. If you played baseball since you were 7 years old, you know what the infield fly rule is. That one is it's just hard to understand.
Well, I've said this Steve. I've said it numerous times. You hear the umpire. Every umpire puts his hand in the air with a fist, saying infield fly rule. The batter is out. You hear every one of them do it, and it was on the infield. It wasn't like in short right field or short left field where the question mark turns into an infield fly rule. That was a total 100% infield fly. So what do you do as a runner? You watch baseball. You played baseball. You coach baseball. You go back to the base where you were and stand there. And you make a decision then what to do. I still don't understand what he's thinking about. He's a major league player. He's been in baseball for years. That's a rule that every runner knows. Even me as a pitcher knows that when I ran. Infield fly rule, you don't go anywhere. If it's short right field or short left field, then you might. But that was total a mistake, 100% mistake on him.
Yeah, I completely agree. Again, right. If the ball is one of those that's kind of a tweener in the short part of the outfield, maybe you're kind of caught in no man's land. But that wasn't even close. I mean, it was between the mound and the plate. There's nowhere to go. That one is just there's no way to explain away that one. Again, inexperience for Devers at first, inexperience for Schmidt at second. Rogers getting blocked by Devers. All those things, hey, we all make mistakes. None of us.
That was a tough inning. When you look at what Tyler Rogers did in that inning, that was a tough inning for him. A couple of infield hits. The ball that he caught, I love the replay when I think Kuiper Krug said he just couldn't find the ball, and then the replay showed it where he was reaching in for his glove and he just couldn't grip the ball. He makes that play. Yeah, that's an easy play for him. He overhands it, throws him out at first.
Right. I mean, all those things are frustrating, but they're understandable in the human condition, so to speak. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But Ramos's mistake on the infield fly rule, that one's just hard to understand. There's no way around it. And I think this, and I heard you talking, look, I've known Bob Melvin for 45 years. I'm a big Bob Melvin fan. I've known him since we were at Cal together. I think he's a great manager. He doesn't need me to say that. He's got the stakes on the wall, so to speak, or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. But
the credentials. He's got the credentials that show it. Sure he does. He's got the Manager of the Year award several times.
Both in terms of something for disciplinary and, it worked for Willie Adames about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago where he sat him for a Sunday game. He had the Monday day off and then started fresh that Tuesday in Colorado. They're going against a right-handed pitcher tomorrow, so that you can maybe get another left-handed batter in the lineup, maybe get Dom Smith in the lineup as well, and he could play either first, or Dom Smith has played the outfield, or you give Matos a chance in left field. But I would sit Ramos tomorrow. Combination of discipline and a hope to kind of get him going again with a 2-day off stretch and then get him going on the road trip in New York.
So let me flip the switch here. Let me flip the switch on something else for you, Steve. Steve Kroner joining me on Sports Phone KNBR. The offense only getting 2 hits. 2 hits, a double and a home run in the same inning, and then 16 up, 16 down. What happened to the offense? Where'd it go today?
Yeah, well, it's been gone for a while. I mean, I will give a minor silver line. I mean, there were about 4 or 5 balls that were hit really hard that were outs. If you go even the 9th inning, the ball Adames hit that Brian Hayes made a great play. So the Giants did hit some balls, some atom balls that were caught. And outside of the 9th inning, going into the 9th inning, they had struck out only twice. I mean, the strikeout has been
they only had 4.
An Achilles heel for them, and they didn't strike out a lot tonight. I mean, that's kind of the, if you look at, the Giants pitchers had 11 strikeouts and issued 1 walk. The Pirates pitchers had 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. 9 times out of 10, if you hear the stats like that, you'd think the team whose pitchers had 11 strikeouts and 1 walk would beat the team whose pitchers had 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. Just wasn't the case tonight.
Yeah, absolutely right, too. You're absolutely right on that, too. And it was just a tough inning for Rogers. We still haven't really talked about Joey Lucchesi, who has just been fantastic.
Yeah.
Coming out of the bullpen, throws 7 pitches, 5 for strikes. Walker got in a little jam. He punched out a couple guys. Tristan Beck's another one that's just been putting zeros on the board. He had a beautiful inning in the 9th. There are some guys that are adding in out of that bullpen, especially Lucchesi and Beck have really turned in some fantastic outings that they've been throwing.
Yeah, and I think, again, looking to the trade deadline, 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, again, up until about a week ago, you'd say you don't want to mess with the Giants bullpen because that's been their biggest strength for 4 months this season. But maybe right now, the fact that, Lucchesi and Tristan Beck have come up and done a good job, the guys who've been really good out of the pen, maybe one of them has to go. I mean, or has to go, but maybe one of them. I'm sure other teams are looking at the Giants bullpen and thinking, there's some good arms to be
There's
had.
Some good arms on it, and everybody's looking for bull. And just looking at numbers right now, the bullpen is at 3.25. They're second now. They were in first, but San Diego's in first. They've only given up 36 home runs. They've struck out 353 hitters. All good numbers when you're looking at 26 saves. Then you look at the overall numbers, Steve. They're 6th in Major League Baseball with pitching with a 3.6 earned run average. They are number 1 in giving up home runs. They've only given up 93 home runs for their whole staff. That's the lowest in Major League Baseball. So you got to look at some of the pitching that's been out there, and it has been good. Of course, we look at Logan Webb, who's throwing tomorrow. He's had 3 clunkers. He'll come back. We know that. He did that last year at the end of August and September. This guy's too good to continue to throw like he is. He understands what's on the line tomorrow. Robbie Ray's another one. Verlander, too, Steve. I thought he threw a hell of a game today.
Absolutely. I mean, again, Justin Verlander is supposed to be your 4th or 5th starter. And, look, he gave you 5 innings, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll take that from your second starter. I mean, maybe
Real
even
good.
your number 1 starter. Justin Verlander, 2 starts in a row, even though his first inning last Wednesday seemed like it went on forever, and he somehow was able to get through it. Since that first inning, he's been really good. I mean,
I think that game, Steve, if I'm not mistaken, I think that game both pitchers threw 80 pitches. I think it was something crazy like that. I remember
it was
Dave
something
Fleming
at least
saying
in the 70s in the first inning.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that.
and amazingly, no run for either team in that game. But, yeah, I mean, Justin Verlander, if he's your 4th or 5th starter and he's pitching like that, that's encouraging. I mean, again, if you want to play, try to find the silver lining. You go back to the Tigers last season. I mean, the Tigers were sellers at the trade deadline. I looked at they were 53-60 through August 5th, and somehow they went 33-16 the rest of the way and got a wild card spot and won a wild card series. Now, I'm not saying that the Giants are going to do that.
Hey, it can
I'm
happen.
saying it's conceivable.
It can happen.
Yep,
yeah.
It can happen.
It sure can. So what do you expect tomorrow, Steve? Let me just throw that, though. Look in your crystal ball and tell me what you think tomorrow is going to bring for this Giants team.
Are you talking about the game itself, or are you talking about the trade
The
deadline?
game itself. Give me your predictions for tomorrow.
All right, I'm going to go one thing. I'm completely going to agree with you. I think Logan Webb will pitch a good game. Are the Giants going to be able to score enough runs to give him a win or get a bullpen win? I don't know. I mean, they certainly haven't looked like they're going to do that in the last week or so. Will they snap? I'll go realistic, optimistic, realistic, optimist. Logan Webb pitches well, and the Giants win a low-scoring game, say 4-2.
Okay, I'll take that. I'm just looking for a win. I think that's what every Giants fan, team member, front office, I think anybody that's wearing an orange and black T-shirt, hoodie or anything, we need a win tomorrow, Steve, and I think that's how we'll end it tonight. The Giants need a win, a 5-game losing streak. They've lost 7 games at home, and we'll find out. But late night, Steve Kroner, thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure.
Bill, talk to you soon.
All right, that was Steve Kroner, of course, on Late Night Sports Phone KNBR. As we close the show, I want to thank my producer, Jacob Volante. He did a great job. Thank you for all your calls tonight. Really, really compliment all the Giants fans and showing your emotion, your heart, and we are all looking for that win tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'll be hosting Sports Phone KNBR. You can call me tomorrow from 7 to 9. The last hour, if you didn't hear me, I'm going to do a little honor to Dave Parker. Did an interview with him in 2021. We have some clips from that. Bill Madlock, Don Robinson are going to join me. So 7 to 9 tomorrow. Dial it in. Come back to KNBR and listen to the Sports Phone KNBR show. For Bill Lasky, let's look for tomorrow. Look for Logan Webb to throw a good game. Giants win a game. And let's see what they can do when they go to New York and Pittsburgh next week. Be safe, be well, have a great night. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.